Okay,
But there have been
let's carry on.
times when we felt like we were beggars. I played a key role as chair of the African Union during the COVID period. We felt like we were beggars when it came to vaccine
Indeed.
availability. When we felt we needed access to vaccines, and the northern hemisphere countries had bought all the vaccines in the world, and they were hogging them. And they didn't want to release them at the time when we needed them most. And we felt like we were begging. And at times it felt like they would just be droppings from the table. That
Crumbs.
yes, we will give you that.
Crumbs.
And let me tell you something that
Unacceptable.
generated a lot of resentment. We resented that, and it got worse when we said we want to manufacture our own vaccines.
Do you hear that?
And when we went to the WTO, there was a lot of resistance.
Can you see? That is where you can see that when the racist policy, racism is inserted into the constitution and into the policies that they make and plans that they make, whereby they actually think, right, no, you don't, because you're black, you're not entitled, so we're not going to let you do it. That's what we mean. So you can have all the fine words, but when you insert that, preventing Africans from creating their own vaccines, it means that you want them to die at all costs. You're not interested, and you hoard the medicine at the same time. So tying their hands behind their back, preventing us from helping ourselves, and then and feel sorry. It's so shallow and so hypocritical. Let's carry on.
Enormous resistance. And we kept saying, what is more important, life or profits by your big pharmaceutical companies?
Well, they made profits on the backs of slavery. They're now making profits on the back of COVID. It's the same thing. It's not going to change. That's what we Africans must realize. We need to build Africa. We have to be totally self-reliant and in all manner, shape and form. It's not going to change.
And that too, I must tell you now, generated and deepened that disappointment and resentment on our part, because we felt like life in the northern hemisphere is much more important than life in the global south. And these are,
and like I said, 3/5 of a man. That's how they view us. So it's time we spoke up, and I'm glad President Ramaphosa is speaking up.
issues that need to be addressed. And I'm glad that we are all seated here like this, because we've got to get to the heart of these matters and address them. Now, I come to promises that have been made. And Chancellor Scholz was saying, we've got to walk the talk.
Schultz, yes.
Yes, we want to see the talk being walked. President Sassou Nguesso yesterday said at the dinner, $100 billion was promised per year. And he was saying, I've never seen that. And many of us will testify that that $100 billion has never really been made available. And this should stand out as something that needs to be addressed. Because sometimes we sit at conferences like this and say, yes, we'll make this available, and we believe you. We believe you, but now the tire must hit the tar.
Yep.
We must now see action flowing from that. Now, I want to then talk about something very practical. President Sassou Nguesso raised it yesterday. He said he would be happy if flowing from this summit, we do something.
Must be very uncomfortable for them hearing the home truths. But they must be hard, and they must hear it anyway.
Something very practical on the infrastructure side.
President
Having
William
said that,
Ruto of Kenya, salute, great guy.
600 million people in Africa do not have electricity. And yet we've got all the resources to generate electricity.
Yeah, we have all the resources in Africa to generate electricity, but yet we don't have it. 600 million people.
particularly the mighty Congo River, and that there have been...
They don't want Africa developed. They don't. We have to develop Africa ourselves. There's no point begging for anything. We need to do it ourselves. That's where I differ with what has been said here. But speaking out, yes, but we must develop it ourselves. We don't wait for anybody. We have to be totally self-reliant.
Plans to build a number of power stations that will generate, in my calculation, up to 70,000 megawatts. And he said, and I want to speak in support of this proposal, that to prove that these summits are not summits where we just talk, flowing from the Paris...
I'm sorry, it's only talk.
COP,
it's only talk.
As well as others.
It's only
Let
talk.
us now put money on the table and collectively say we are going to address this mega project. A mega project which will in the end generate electricity for up to 12, 15 African countries all at one go. And this is a project that I think the multilateral development banks here working together, the call that you've made, President Macron, can actually fund. And where, as we rise from this, we should be able to say the Inga Dam is now going to be developed into the Inga Power Station, the one that President Sassou Nguesso mentioned, and the next one as well.
We have to do it ourselves, I'm afraid.
If we can do that, then we as Africans will now be convinced that these summits are really meaningful. We will now go home and say, you know what, it's worthwhile going to these summits, coming to Europe, and to listen to all the promises because they are willing to act on the promises. This is what President Macron, I believe, will be one of the most important outcomes. The reform of the financial architecture, as well as a practical project, infrastructure project that is going to add a lot of value. President Sisi and I have been talking about a railway from Cape Town to Cairo for years. We will leave that for the next summit, but the one on generating electricity and building power stations on the Inga Dam is the most important, that is immediate, that I believe needs to be addressed now. Let's get that done, and then we will be convinced that you are serious with the promises that you make. Thank you.
So there we have, that's Jeffrey Sachs, Jeffrey Sachs, the guy who really is trying to speak up about things, but anyway, the one thing I wanted to bring about was just to bring something here. I don't know if I saw it, I wanted to bring his face. Tinubu was on there, and I wanted to just show it again. Let me see if I can bring that up. He was there somewhere, and I wanted to see it. Let me see if it's there in the background, because Tinubu was there, and I want to get as evidence for people who may have thought he wasn't there. He was there. It's not a slight or anything. It's just an observation. It's just an observation. I will get it, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay. There we are. So you can see that's Tinubu right there in the back there, and that's Ramaphosa there. That's Tinubu. You can see that. So it's very important to understand that he was there. As you can see that he was there. It was next to, I think it was sitting next to President Ramaphosa, President William Ruto. So he was there. And it's just something, a side note that I wanted to put out. So what are your thoughts on it? I think this is going to be part 2. I'm going to make it a part 1 and part 2 of the discussion. What are your thoughts on it? What did you think? Leave your comment. Let's hear from you. You're, of course, watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Don't forget to go and subscribe to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Help us grow the platform. Subscribe, hit the notification button, and, of course, give us a thumbs up. Thank you so very much. You've been watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. So, yeah, that's Tinubu there. I just wanted you to have that there as a side thing, and I'll, we'll be back later on. Thank you. Bye for now.